It's 4.5 billion years ago. Our solar system is a crowded place with as many as 20 protoplanets circling the Sun, each competing for dominance, colliding and fusing with other protoplanets and asteroids to shape larger planets. Among them is a young and moonless Earth. This proto-Earth is extremely volcanic and active, and after 80 million years of forming, this lonely proto-Earth has one final and monumental blow in waiting. A smaller planet called Theia forms in the same orbit, either leading or trailing proto-Earth. The gravitational pull of the surrounding planets destabilizes Theia's orbit. Theia begins to drift towards proto-Earth, rapidly picking up speed. Upon impact, Theia is completely pulverized, shattering into millions of pieces while proto-Earth survives the collision. The collision sends a shockwave around proto-Earth, knocking its tilt off axis. The debris from Theia shears an enormous amount of proto-Earth's mantle off with it, creating a trail towering thousands of kilometers into space. The energy from the impact vaporizes the surfaces of both planets, mixing the gases together. The lighter elements get sprayed into space, while Theia's core is absorbed by proto-Earth. The remaining debris recedes outwards, where some of it pulls together and begins to form. For the briefest period, no more than a few hours, there are two proto-moons. The largest one is pulled back towards proto-Earth and merges, finally creating Earth. This bigger mass creates a stronger gravitational pull that raises the smaller moon into a wider and more stable orbit. As the moon moves into place, it begins to reflect the light from the sun onto Earth. In just under 2 days, our Earth and moon is born. They are both made from the same materials, making them similar to being identical twins. After the impact, the moon exists in a molten state, with its surface covered in an ocean of magma. Over time, the moon begins to cool down, and the outer layer slowly solidifies and forms a thin crust. Heavier elements sink towards the center to create the moon's core, and lighter elements float to the surface to form the mantle. Craters and basins begin to form, and volcanic activity releases water vapor, which condenses into ice and forms cold, shadowed regions. The moon goes from being a glowing sphere of molten rock to a sphere of volcanic rock that is completely cold and completely dead. The moon's rotation slows down until it becomes synchronized with the speed that it revolves around the Earth. This phenomenon, known as tidal locking, means that the same side of the moon would always face Earth, while the opposite side would remain forever hidden. The moon's presence stabilizes the tilt of Earth's axis and helps move heat away from the equator and towards the poles, resulting in more stable seasons and climate. The moon's gravitational pull helps set the tectonic plates, forming continents and oceans, raising the sea levels and causing tides on Earth. The rise and fall of the water creates large low-tide areas that are exposed to the sun. In these shallow pools, the sun evaporates the water, leaving behind concentrated salt water, which creates an environment where the first step towards life's building blocks begin to take place. The tides push marine life into shallow pools, where survival is a challenge. This encourages some organisms to adapt and move from the oceans to land, and over time, fins turn into limbs, gills into lungs, and some species adapt to living entirely on land. Around 32,000 BC, in the heart of the last ice age, early humans roamed the vast and unforgiving landscape. These resilient souls are the Aurignacian people, known for their cave art and their profound connection to the natural world. They rely on their hunting and gathering skills for survival. Every day is a matter of life and death, and they observe the world around them with keen eyes. It doesn't take long for the hunters to realize that the moon is not just a celestial wonder, but that it holds secrets about the behavior of humans and animals. They notice that deer, in particular, move differently depending on the moon's phase. During a full moon, when the moon shines brightly, the deer are more active and easier to spot. But during the new moon, when the light is shrouded in darkness, the deer are more evasive and cautious. Lions are less likely to hunt during the full moon and more likely to hunt humans in the days following a full moon. They notice the moon phases also influence the migration of millions of species of birds, and that these circulunar rhythms also influence the reproduction cycles of many animals, both in water and on land. The Aurignacian people begin tracking the moon's phases to determine what the behavior of the animals they were hunting would be like. Using bones, stones, and whatever materials they could find, they etched simple markings to represent each moon's phase. Over time, these markings evolve into a more sophisticated calendar. The Aurignacian lunar calendar becomes not only a tool for survival, but also a cornerstone of their culture. They use it to plan more successful hunting expeditions, schedule gatherings with their fellow tribespeople, and mark important events, rituals, and the changing of the seasons. They also integrate the moon phases into their religious beliefs and practices, holding ceremonies under the bright full moon and seeking solace in the darkness of the new moon. In 4000 BC, the ancient Egyptians developed the lunisolar calendar. Life in Egypt revolves around the annual flooding of the Nile, which brings fertile silt to the riverbanks, allowing for bountiful harvests. Understanding the timing of this life-giving flood is of paramount importance and would hold the key to their calendar's creation. The Egyptians observed that it took 29.5 days for the moon to complete a full cycle of phases, and that 12 lunar cycles equal 354 days, slightly shorter than the solar year, where the Earth completes its orbit around the Sun in roughly 365 days. To bridge the gap between the lunar year and the solar year, they introduce an ingenious concept, a 13th month. This additional month aligns their calendar and allows them to predict the Nile's annual flooding more accurately and bring stability and prosperity to their civilization. Because of this, they adopt the moon into their beliefs. They worship many gods, one of which is Thoth, a god of wisdom and magic, who they believe crafted the moon to provide humans with light during the darkness. They believe the moon phases also represent the cycle of life and time, and that is a manifestation of Thoth's role in maintaining order and balance in the cosmos, ensuring that both the physical and spiritual realms are harmoniously aligned. In ancient Greece, mythology begins to take shape around 900 BC. At the heart of Greek mythology is Artemis, a goddess of unparalleled beauty and grace. She's the twin sister of Apollo, the god of the sun, and together they illuminate both day and night. Artemis is known for her independence and fierce determination, and takes on the role of a protector that guides hunters through the dark wilderness. She's also revered as a guardian of women, particularly during childbirth. Her nurturing side contrasts with her fierce independence, reflecting the duality of the moon itself, which phases shift between darkness and light. Many other cultures also start to recognize the moon's profound influence on their world, and they too begin to celebrate its beauty, mystery, and guidance through the dark hours. In 500 BC, the Babylonians begin noticing that sometimes the moon appeared to move in front of the sun, blocking its light for a brief moment. They call this a solar eclipse. At other times, the Earth cast a shadow on the moon, creating a lunar eclipse. They begin to keep records of this and develop a system called metatonic cycles to help them predict future eclipses with incredible precision. They also begin to study the phases of the moon to determine the different lengths of months, leading them to two vital concepts: sidereal months, how long it takes for the moon to return to the same position around the Earth, and synodic months, how long it takes for the phases of the moon to complete its cycle, as well as how long it takes for the Earth, moon, and sun to realign. As we journey through time and cultures, one thing becomes abundantly clear. The moon has played a pivotal role in shaping our world and our understanding of it. Many diverse cultures and civilizations, separated by time and space, all share a common fascination with the moon. It continues to inspire our curiosity and connect us to our shared history, reminding us of the enduring mystery of the cosmos.